When he has children, some of them have more ethnic names and some of them don't. He has a wife that has an ethnic name. I don't think that he would appreciate, and he shouldn't be modeling for them, his own family, the normalization of just picking a random ethnic name to apply to a person, particularly—
A mistake with a relatively new senator in the United States Senate. I don't think that was intentional.
You really think it was a mistake? Newsom does not believe it was.
Whatever, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. The bigger story here is that the vice president is correct in what the senator—
So he knows very well what Alex Padilla's name is. So it's disgraceful that he would sit up there and make fun or make a joke or make light of—
Well, that's part of the way that they
That's how we
deal
deal with things in New York City.
Well, maybe President Trump will pardon those violent rioters.
It's immature, it's small, and it really reveals more about him than it does about any Democrat.
This entire thing could not be working out better for Trump.
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into this segment. We are possibly getting into a major war, and they seem to always have time for racism. This is amazing. Check this out, and we'll talk about it.
I will begin with you, since you are just joining us, putting you on the hot seat. Now that President Donald Trump has won this court battle so far, he has control of the California National Guard. Do you see this as something that he will now use elsewhere because of this win and because of what happened in Los Angeles?
I do, until the Supreme Court says otherwise. I was a little surprised by the ruling because they were giving great deference to the president, and there's like Katie barred the door. I mean, what's to stop President Trump from doing it in every other city, especially Democratic cities? And before we think, well, this was just political, the three-judge panel was comprised of 2 judges appointed by Trump and 1 appointed by Joe Biden. Yeah. So that's what surprised me about it, and it does give the chief executive, the president, a lot more power than he had just a couple days ago.
Reecie, I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, the cavalry is not coming from the courts. You know, all of the courts have seemed to want to give a lot of deference to President Trump, even though if you give him an inch, he takes a mile. And that's what's concerning about this. He's already articulated that he plans to send the National Guard into other cities, and there was no reason for it. Look, I grew up in L.A. I was there for the Rodney King riots. The LAPD is not shy about cracking down on anything. And so the idea that the National Guard and hundreds of Marines need to be in Los Angeles, Mayor Bass has already lifted the curfew on downtown, is ridiculous.
Go ahead, Dan.
I used to work with governor and mayors in the White House, and I think the larger concern here is the antagonistic approach this administration is taking with local elected officials. We have a lot of attention on Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass, but a lot of things that aren't getting attention, like in St. Louis, it took 5 days for FEMA to get on the scene with people dying and people losing their homes with tornadoes. He's talking about closing FEMA entirely. Just to put it in perspective, the entire budget of Louisiana was $18 billion when Katrina hit. The government got in and put $72 billion in. So the notion that we would get rid of FEMA is absurd. And so what makes me most concerned about all this is when the first major hurricane hits, are they going to be by the side of the elected officials, or are they going to take the same rigid stance? If it's the latter, we're in deep trouble.
I don't know if FEMA has anything to do with this, but I did see some poll numbers on the use of National Guard in L.A. Harvard-Harris poll came out. A majority of Americans believe that Trump should use the National Guard in this incident. A majority of Americans also believe that the president should have the authority to use the National Guard and federalize the National Guard when there's a threat to federal property, federal agents. So the American people are with President Trump. Well, I'm giving you a poll number, which is
but yes, in a rational world. But who is making the decision whether someone is presenting it the way you're doing?
Thankfully, the president does, and we elect him through the Electoral College, as you're aware.
You trust the president's ability to make that decision?
I do. And actually, a majority of Americans in the same Harvard-Harris poll agree with me and not you. And you guys use the term protest, and I think that's a little absurd. We didn't see a protest. We have protests all over the world. Not all of those are getting the National Guard response. The protesters there were interfering with the lawful actions of a federal agency. They were trying to interfere with ICE raids, and they were destroying property and threatening agents. That's a line that I am glad the President Trump did not allow people to cross.
Let me just quickly say, because I was there and have covered protests for decades, that there were protesters who were peaceful. They were there in the daytime.
I don't doubt that.
A large number.
But we're talking about a mass of people, right, and some of them were not well behaved.
Right. There was a large number that were mostly in the daytime. At night, things did change, and there were people who were destroying things, setting cars on fire, etc. But there is a distinction.
So people who just walked by the Capitol on January 6th, should they not have been prosecuted?
What did you say?
People who were just walking by the Capitol on January 6th in the crowd, should they have not been prosecuted? Because I think we can't have a double standard there. I respect that there are peaceful people in the protest in L.A., but there was a heck of a lot of people doing a heck of a lot of damage and a heck of a lot of inappropriate things. And the mayor did not act. The governor did not act. In fact, the same poll has, a different poll rather, has Newsom's poll numbers the lowest they've ever been.
Yeah, police, though, did say they had it under control. They were very clear about that. And the LAPD, as you heard, they are not shy
The mayor had
when
to
it comes to
the mayor had
jumping,
to issue a curfew the next night because
Yeah.
clearly they didn't have it under control. She wouldn't have had to issue a curfew the next night if they had it under control.
Well, that's
sorry.
part of the way that they
that's how
deal
we
with
deal
these
with things in New York
protests.
City. And
Well, maybe President Trump will pardon those violent rioters in the streets in Los Angeles. But, this is the fight he wants. The thing, you're right about the polls. This is the battle he wants to fight because it's a winner for him. Immigration, public safety. He doesn't want to talk about Elon Musk.
which are winners for all of us, by the way. Public safety is a winner for all of us.
Hold on a second. Let me just, you mentioned the polls, and I do want to get to one of the polls that we do have here. The Reuters Ipsos poll taken after the Los Angeles protest shows that people think Trump has gone too far when it comes to arrest of immigrants. If you take a look at this poll, it is 49% think he has gone too far, 40% disagree. So there is you are starting to see a break in how people feel about the way in which this administration is going after immigrants, which has caused these protests. So that should just be mentioned.
And I just have to say, the more facts you give people, the more knowledge, the more they are for immigrants to stay for the most part. Because guys, we have 7 million jobs open in this country. That's 7 million people that could be paying into taxes, Social Security, buying things from small businesses to large. I mean, the Republican parties always talk about growing the economy. You need more people in order to do that. And people aren't having kids because simply it's just too expensive. People don't feel comfortable doing that. And Republicans, instead of helping with that, take away Medicaid from millions of people in order to give another tax break to the super rich so they can buy another 12th home. I mean, this is incredible. While also cutting Social Security, education, all the things that are meant to aid you one way or another that would alleviate the burden of having a child. I mean, like, it's not that hard to understand. Make it easier for people to want to have kids, and they will.
I think it is a load of BS to suggest that he is doing this because he wanted to keep LA residents safe. He's doing this because he sees a great political opportunity in trying to usurp the power of Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass, and he is stirring the pot, hoping that the protesters overextend themselves so that he can take a victory lap. Guess what? No one
If you want to talk about politicians seeking, political victories, it's people like Senator Padilla, Brad Lander here in New York, Zoran
Senator
Mamdani,
Padilla
going up to
clearly
federal
identified
agents
himself
and trying to get
and
into
then was
scuffles
tackled
with
by
them
FBI
so that they
agents.
get arrested. That's
You
sort of the
tell me-
playbook
you
from
tell
the
me what
left,
the
right?
truth is.
You scuffle with a cop, you get arrested, then you do the whole sympathy thing, like I just got arrested by the cops.
All right, I do want to talk about that. You did have Democrats, several of them, I think at least 5 have been arrested in some form or another, some of them detained, some of them arrested. You did have Senator Alex Padilla, who showed up unexpectedly at a press conference. He went in, he confronted Secretary Kristi Noem, and then was arrested. Vance, while in California, said this about that arrest.
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is.
He said Jose Padilla. Now, Jose Padilla is someone who was arrested and convicted of terrorism. Is that a smart thing to do right now if we're trying to be serious about what's going on?
He made a mistake with a relatively new senator in the United States Senate. I don't think that was
You really
intentional.
think it was a mistake?
I
Newsom
do.
does not believe it was.
Whatever, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. The bigger story here is that the vice president is correct in what the senator was trying to do. The senator tried to get in front of cameras. This is the playbook. We see this whether it's Democrats invading town halls, whether it's Democrats here in New York trying to get, handcuffed by ICE. You saw the front page of the Daily News just 2 days ago. The comptroller was taking a page out of Mayor Baraka in Newark's playbook. If you recall, Mayor Baraka was not doing too well in the polls. He interfered with some ICE agents. Suddenly, he finishes number 2 in the Democratic primary.
Reecie,
That's a
is this
playbook.
how you see it? Is this sort of theater, or is this something that you believe that these Democrats really truly believe in and are willing to put their bodies sort of on the line between ICE and immigrants?
Well, first of all, these people are exercising their oversight authority. They're not usurping authority that they don't have. It's actually the administration that is usurping their authority. But I'm not going to let you just pivot completely away from this Jose Padilla mess. This is Senator Alex Padilla served in the U.S. Senate with J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, as the vice president, is the president of the Senate. So he knows very well what Alex Padilla's name is. So it's disgraceful that he would sit up there and make fun or make a joke or make light of it, especially when he has children. Some of them have more ethnic names and some of them don't. He has a wife that has an ethnic name. I don't think that he would appreciate, and he shouldn't be modeling for them, his own family, the normalization of just picking a random ethnic name to apply to a person, particularly a U.S. senator. So that is disgraceful, and it shows his immaturity is why he is shipped across the nation in a time of crisis where you would think he would be huddled up in the Situation Room or in some of these discussions about where the United States is going to go with this military conflict, instead of doing these little petty schoolyard taunts. And so it's immature, it's small, and it really reveals more about him than it does about any Democrat.
This entire thing,
Like, that's just incredible. He obviously meant it in a racist way. At least that's how I got it. Jose, Hispanic person. Ooh, good one. J.D. Vance thinks he's tough. You see as he wears eyeliner with shadow, and that thing seems to get darker and darker. This guy talks about being an alpha male while being eyeliner Vance. I mean, as they define it, you can't possibly wear eyeliner with shadow and mascara and be an alpha. Come on now, are you in your senses? Like, this is a man, J.D. Vance, who stood in support of the Doge employee that was saying vile racist things about Indian people. They hired him back after he resigned. Eyeliner Vance's wife is Indian. His kids are Indian. So alpha male, right? This is what they always talk about. Real family man, huh? And if you saw when she was speaking, this little creep, Scott, was smiling because he just simply likes the racism. Imagine if someone says something about a Jewish person. He would freak out. It's just incredible.
could not be working out better for Trump. I mean, the Democratic Party, since he has come back into office.
And I'd love to make that point. I wish I was on that panel and make that point, make one of those stupid faces he makes.
Has put all of their time, all of their energy, all of their whatever they can muster into fighting for illegal immigrants, keeping them in the country, keeping Trump from deporting them. And so time and again, we get into these situations where Trump is doing something completely lawful and within his authority, such as sending the National Guard to control a riot. And he's doing it for the purpose of controlling a situation to keep other American citizens safe. And Democrats continue to step on this rake, continue to die on this hill that is a huge political loser for them. And it's getting worse. These stunts, you know, trying to get yourself arrested, lunging at cabinet secretaries. You know, you've got a judge in Wisconsin, you know, trying to help sneak illegal aliens out the back of the courthouse. Democrats across the country spending all of their time and energy on illegal aliens, and Donald Trump spending all of his time and energy on trying to enforce the laws of the land. Complete winner, and he's well within right to do it.
Did he really lunge at Chrissy Nome?
Yes, did you watch it? Of course he did. He comes barging into a press conference, running up to a stage. I mean, what is the security supposed to do?
There's an
what
800%
are they supposed to do?
in deporting people who do not have a criminal record, an 800% increase.
I think
in that.
3/4 of the people they've deported.
That is not
Frame the
what.
question the interesting way.
Hold
You
on a
said
second. We're gonna stop here. We have so much more to talk about, and we have more time. So don't get upset yet. Dave Ehrenberg, thank you.
Let me give you my quick rant here. Hey, Latinos for Trump. Listen, that Jose crap is the nicest thing they will call you, right? Growing up in New York City, I had black friends, white friends. My best friend till this day is Chinese, Arab friends, right? We knock each other with these kind of comments. He obviously wasn't doing that in jest, right? These people are just these people are truly vile. And if it wasn't for this channel being taken down, I would tell you all the pleasant words they use to describe our people. This is to Latinos for Trump. And if you can't see who these people are at this point, you're just being willfully stupid. These people are racist to the bone, down to the molecular level. This is just their go-to move each and every time. What was that other guy? The one that talks like a little girl? Ben Shapiro. That guy's like mid-40s, talks like a little girl. Talking about we should pardon Derek Chauvin. This is just always their go-to move. The constant racist garbage. Trump, and we all knew it was coming, Juneteenth, right? Trump, of course, I knew he was going to say something, do something. During Juneteenth, a couple days ago, it says, we have too many holidays. Because, of course, wait until that holiday specifically to say that. Because, of course, he would. But more importantly, he knows his voters are always hungry for a nice racist dish served fresh off the trash. And like this Jose thing, by the way, you guys just so uncreative. You can't come up with something better, really, Jose? It's like the same thing with saying Kamala's name wrong, saying Barack Hussein Obama because ooh, scary for Republican voters, these little snowflakes, because Hussein's in it. Like, can't even be creative in your racism at least a little bit. I mean, I do get it. This is for the Republican voter, and we all know these people just aren't the most intelligent. You get too creative, and it'll go right over their heads. But I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Incredible. We're possibly getting into a big war. Always got time for racism. I said it. This is their go-to move. I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please leave a like, subscribe. Really helps the channel, really helps push the message out there. And I'll catch you in the next one.